Hi everybody. So yes, in this video I would like to officially nominate Sargon of Akkad as the new Atheism Defended, aka Raoul demerest, who we all remember. Now of course we all remember Atheism Defended, aka Raoul, for a number of things, one of which was he thought religion was a mental illness, and boy oh boy did he labour that one. And also, in his pursuit of trying to argue this, he ended up demonstrating that he didn't really have any understanding of how academic peer review works. He even at one point stated that the fact that lots of people in his comment section agreed with him meant that his hypothesis had been peer reviewed, which of course means he doesn't know what peer review means. Now, to explain to anyone who doesn't know what peer review is, how it works, basically, when someone proposes a hypothesis, the job of the peer reviewers is to try and falsify this. They test it by trying to prove that it's wrong. And something that passes this incredibly scrutinous test therefore graduates to the level of a theory. However, if someone proposes a hypothesis that can't be tested in any way, something that has no evidence with it, no mechanism, if it can't be tested in any way, well then it can't be falsified. They can't try and falsify it because there's nothing to try and falsify. There's nothing been presented. And we call those hypotheses unfalsifiable hypotheses for that reason. So ideas that can't be tested are what we call unfalsifiable hypotheses. Sargon of Akkad does not understand this. I've tried explaining to this. I've tried explaining to him that unfalsifiable means untestable, and examples of this would be things like gods or ghosts. These things can't be tested because they don't come with any evidence. So we can't actually try and falsify what isn't there. There's no evidence for them. Now I've explained this to Sargon of Akkad in vain. Anyone who's ever spoken to him, by the way, I'm sure you can feel my pain at having to try and explain something to someone this. It's fucking stupid. So I explained to him that ask anyone in academia, Sargon, what unfalsifiable means. They will tell you it means can't be tested. Right? It can't be tested. They cannot put it through the mill of the scientific process, the scientific method, because there's nothing to put through. And this is his response. Listen, dumbass, they are giving you an abridged definition and cutting to the chase. It can be tested, but the tests never return false, even when they should. Which is why, when they say can't be tested, they mean no point testing it. You can test it all day, but it will just keep returning true results. Oh, but no, it means I can't set up my apparatus and perform my tests that will inevitably come back true, you fucking idiot. So there we have it. Sargon of Akkad thinks unfalsifiable means true. He thinks an unfalsifiable hypothesis is one that can't be tested, but one that there's no point testing because it's definitely going to be right. Even no matter how many times you test it, it turns out to be true. That's actually what Sargon of Akkad actually thinks. That's what he thinks an unfalsifiable hypothesis is. And it's there, it's screen captured. If he wants to go and edit this comment because he's realised how much of a fucking idiot he's making of himself, already got it screen captured. Now, Sargon was also babbling on about something called reverse unfalsifiability, which, if you're an academic individual out there, you will recognise as not a word. That is not a real term that's ever used in academia. And I asked him what the hell he means by this. He also mentioned this in his video, the original one I responded to, and I didn't understand what he meant by it then either. But he explained to me, he says what he means by reverse unfalsifiability is, whereas unfalsifiable means can't be demonstrated to be false, he means by reverse unfalsifiability, he means can't be demonstrated to be true. Okay, Sargon, can you explain to me what method we use for demonstrating something is true and how this differs from methods we use to demonstrate whether things are false? Can you do that? Also, can you name some examples of when this has been done in the history of science or history of academia in general? Could you give me some examples here? because I've tried googling the words reverse unfalsifiability and reverse unfalsifiable, and unsurprisingly it's come up with absolute fuck all. This is not a term that is used in academia. Now maybe you want to be, you're the inventor of this term, maybe that's what you want to claim. Do you not think, Sargon, that if there were this big a gaping hole in academia, someone just might have noticed it before you did? Okay? You know, some unemployed e-begging slob trying to scrounge off people on the internet. Do you think someone just might have figured this out? Just might have figured this out in the vast history of academia, that there was this huge gaping hole in the peer review process? Do you not think? Oh my goodness. The other reason I want to nominate Sargon of Akkad as the new Atheism Defended, I suppose we could call him MR Atheism Defended, but you know, it's a working title, work in progress, sorry. Sargon thinks, just as Atheism Defended believed religion to be a mental illness, Sargon thinks feminism is a mental illness. So yeah, so we're dealing with someone else who doesn't understand how mental illness works, or how feminism works, or how religion works. Now, the other thing was, he also thinks feminism is a religion. Now this ties in very much with Atheism Defended, who believed that any atheist who didn't agree with him, didn't agree with his personal views, weren't real atheists, because they couldn't be. And that's another thing that Sargon seems to be doing here. He's saying that atheist feminists aren't real atheists because they're actually following a religion, so they can't really be legitimately non-religious. What Sargon doesn't realise is, of course, whatever parallels you want to draw between feminism and religion, most of them are red herrings. You know, for something to qualify as a religion, it has to have belief in the supernatural. That's the one qualifier. A lot of people try and draw these parallels by saying, well, this thing has rules and rituals and leaders and people in charge and a building they go to, and religion has that as well, so this must be a religion. But those are actual red herrings, unless they're going to this building to worship some kind of supernatural thing in the sky, or they're going to try and commune via some kind of supernatural energy field or whatever, if it's one of the non-theistic religions. That is the important quality something has to have to be a religion. It doesn't just have to have some rules or some traditions or some rituals or a building or people in charge. Right? That's not what qualifies a religion. A religion is a belief in some kind of supernatural power. Oh God. Now, what's interesting is, I mean, you try and imply that patriarchy is the sort of feminist equivalent of Satan. It's what's, whereas Christianity has Satan, the religion of feminism has patriarchy. But the thing is with patriarchy, and this is what ties back to my original point about you not understanding what falsifiability is, patriarchy is a falsifiable hypothesis, and that's why it has passed the peer review process and is now called a theory, patriarchy theory. So it has absolutely nothing in common with Satan. You know, Satan is actually a character, by the way, yes, not a societal structure. The threadiness of trying to tie these things together is ridiculous. So yes, as Bob Dylan said, don't criticise what you can't understand. Let me know what you think, everyone. Goodbye.
Fucking feminist system!